Hi, my name is Dan Blaner. I'm a solutions architect with AWS, and I'm here to talk to you today about the developer tools announcements that we announced at reInvent. The first update is the AWS Toolkit for PyCharm. PyCharm is a Python IDE produced by JetBrains, and the Toolkit is a plugin for that IDE. The plugin integrates with the AWS Serverless Application Model, or SAM, and the SAM provides an easy way for defining all of the components in a serverless app and is an extension of CloudFormation. The plugin integrates with SAM to allow you to launch new projects using SAM templates. It also integrates with SAM to run and debug serverless apps right on your local developer workstation. It provides a step-through debugger to make debugging very easy. Within the plugin, within the IDE, you can deploy your Lambda functions and your SAM applications right into the AWS service without having to use the CLI. And from within the IDE, you can also invoke your Lambda functions remotely in the service. The next announcement is continuous delivery support for Fargate and for ECS. Now you can do blue-green deployments into ECS using CodeDeploy. The ECS service sets up CodeDeploy for you whenever you choose the blue-green deployment type for your service. Your service must be behind an ALB for this to work. You can trigger the blue-green deployments whenever you update your ECS service using either the console, the CLI, or the SDK. And you also have access to CodeDeploy directly to kick off a deployment directly. We also announced that the Elastic Container Registry, or ECR, is a source provider for CodePipeline. This means that whenever you deploy an updated container into the registry, it kicks off a pipeline update so that you can do a blue-green deployment. There's a great tutorial on this in the ECS documentation. We provided a link in the slides. Another big announcement is that Lambda now supports Ruby. This has been a long requested feature by developers. Lambda supports Ruby 2.5, and you can write your Ruby scripts, your Ruby functions directly in the Lambda editor right in the console, like you would if you were building Python. You can also test your Ruby functions locally using the serverless application model. Ruby support for Lambda is available in all regions where Lambda is available. The next big announcement is Lambda Layers. With Lambda Layers, you can package all of your code, data, and other dependencies for your Lambda functions without having to deploy them with each function. So now you can centrally manage all of your common dependencies instead of doing duplicate packaging. You can deploy your layers separately than your functions and manage deployment of your layers separately from your Lambda functions. So now, for example, if you're building your Lambda functions in Java and you use a lot of open source jars, you don't need to package all of those jars into every single Lambda function deployment. You can bundle those as a separate layer and simply refer to those from your Lambda function. Lambda is heavily used by data scientists, and so AWS is providing Lambda-optimized versions of the NumPy and SciPy Python libraries as a layer. So now if you're building Python-based data science Lambda functions, you can simply set up your Lambda function to use those layers, and now you don't have to worry about packaging those libraries yourself. The Serverless Application Model, or SAM, also supports layers, so you can do local testing of your layer-based Lambda functions. Every function can use up to 5 different layers as well, so you can further manage the granularity of all of your layers. And you can reference layers cross-account as well, so you can provide your code dependencies in one account and reference them from functions in one of your other accounts. To use and update a layer, you simply update the function, the configuration of your Lambda function. The next update is Lambda Custom Runtimes. Now you can provide support for virtually any programming language, regardless of whether or not the Lambda service supports it itself. There are some caveats. The language must be able to run on Amazon Linux. When you build a custom runtime, we provide you with an AMI, and that AMI includes the AWS SDK for JavaScript, as well as the SDK for Python. If you have any other dependencies, you must provide them yourself in the deployment bundle. When you build your runtime, you can either provide it and package it up with your Lambda function, or you can build it as a layer so that multiple functions can use your custom runtime. A runtime is either a custom binary or even a shell script that handles the execution of your Lambda functions, and it has to perform several certain functions. Number one, it has to initialize the runtime and any Lambda functions that it's associated with. And it has to pull the Lambda service for new invocation events to run. When it receives a new event, it creates context and then invokes the function handler to execute the function code. It handles any responses or errors from your Lambda function and ships those back to the Lambda service. And then finally performs any cleanup necessary. Your custom runtime interacts with the Lambda service through an HTTP-based runtime interface. That runtime interface provides several functions, including the ability to poll for new invocation events and for notifying the Lambda service of functional responses and errors. Several third-party partners are building their own custom runtimes to provide support for languages such as PHP, COBOL, Erlang, and some others. And finally, at reInvent, we announced Lambda support for application load balancers. Now, you don't need to build out an API using API Gateway if you want to build a Lambda-based web application. You can simply create an application load balancer and hang your Lambda functions off of that load balancer. An ALB can route traffic to one or more Lambda functions, and you can use content routing rules to determine which functions handle which traffic. This feature is available in all commercial regions and GovCloud West. So those are all the updates I have for you today. Give those a try, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact your solutions architect or your account team. Thanks.